And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should any emergency arise, please notify net control, and we will stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our QSO-VLOG network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, fullest sounding broadcast station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the QSO-VLOG network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 1,400 QSO-VLOG Aircheck recordings. Our mission statement for the network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon, on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in the selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. Also today, on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specifically oriented dipole antenna. One leg of this dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube QSO-VLOG video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today, that all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations, QSA-5, to be understood by all. QSL. And to continue, as we pray for good radio conditions, let's also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that's challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. And as we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG Net, and now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a coffee? And hearing nothing, Charlie is not joining us this afternoon. Gosh, I hope everything is okay that way, but we'll be hoping and praying for his health. He did have a bout with the 19, and hopefully he is, last I heard he was doing much, much better. I hope he is still continuing to recuperate. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG Network, and now if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 9 Romeo Zulu X-ray.
Zulu X-ray station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically, please.
Yes, Whiskey 9 Romeo Zulu X-ray.
Roger, and what's the name there?
Name here is Jeff.
Roger, Jeff. Where are you located, sir?
I'm located in Northwest Illinois.
Roger that. And what radio are you running?
The FTDX 3000 Yaesu.
Roger, sir. And gosh, if you'd be interested, we could go through a little setup procedure. If you would be interested, and give me about 10 seconds of your audio, maybe talking about your antenna setup, Roger.
Okay, yeah, running the FTDX 3000 through an off-center fed dipole at approximately 60 feet at the apex, running about a kilowatt. Go ahead.
Roger, Jeff, your dynamic range is right on target there, about 3 dB, so your average percent of peak modulation is about 80 to 85%. Might do just a little bit touch top-end EQ boost, maybe a click or two. I would like to see maybe try 2 clicks top boost if you got a moment.
Sure. I'm set at 2,500 hertz on the EQ3 frequency with a plus 10 level and a bandwidth of 3.
Roger. How far can you move that up to 27 or so?
No, it's minus 10 to plus 10, and it's at plus 10 right now.
I'm sorry, but yes, your hinge frequency. Can you move your hinge frequency up a little bit higher?
Sure.
About 27, if you could.
Okay, that's at 27 there.
Yes, sir. That is a better for articulation. It's not, a big expansive frequencies as far as moving up, but it is approaching the typical syllabic range, which is usually between 4 and 6 kc. And although, our bandpass, we can't quite get there, and I'm assuming that you're in the 100 to 2900 mode of bandpass?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the only way to run the radio there, because when you go to lesser bandpass modes, you start losing the top end as you lose the bottom end. We can always take care of the bottom end through EQ, but we can't adjust that top end if we're in a lesser bandpass than 100 to 2900. So I just recommend, that you run that bandpass only, because there's no reason to compromise.
Okay, very good. Is the overall EQing sound all right on your end?
Yes, sir. Sounds beautiful. I'm looking at it on the spectrum analyzer, and when you check, if you would like, we are recording now, and that's one of the things we do. And I've got a spectrum analyzer tied to my receiver, so it's looking at all audio that's passing through. Actually, it's on the backs out of the mixer, so it's doing my EQ, also showing my EQ and also the radio EQ. I'm running FT990, which is an older radio, but it's pretty highly modified coming and going. So its bandpass is down to 100 cycles on the audio. Roger?
Oh, very good. Well, I've heard you in it before, and I've been listening. I've set the processor level and the mic gain level and all that as per listening to you. And I just got the new microphone. I was just curious if the EQing was pretty close.
Oh, yeah. So what I'm saying is if you would like to go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by today's date, 12/4/20, that will take you directly to this recording, and you'll be able to see your audio displayed on the spectrum analyzer. Roger?
Okay, very good. All right, well, that's about all I have. If you'd like to help somebody else out, go right ahead.
Roger, Jeff. Just in the way of explanation, on the spectrum analyzer there are 3 white marks, white hashes on the spectrum analyzer. The one furthest to the left is 100 cycles, and as you come to the right, the first one to the right that you hit is 1 kc, then there's a blank space which is 2 kc, and the second white mark after that is 4 kc, just in way of being able to see what the spectrum analyzer is doing. Roger?
Okay, I appreciate that information.
Roger. Jeff, well, 73 to you, sir. Thanks for checking in. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. Roger?
Okay, very good, and thank you. 73 from Whiskey 9 Romeo Zulu X-ray.
Roger, Jeff, 73. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Hi, Jim, I'm sorry I'm a little late. K1GZL.
Charlie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. I was out in the yard. I was trying to plant a 16-foot 4x4 in the ground. Pardon me. And that was a job. And then to come down here, I have to come down through. Through a lot of brush that just made me a little bit late. So I've got a short but a nice contact with Captain Mike. Captain Mike yesterday morning. Yesterday morning as he was over just west of Chicago at 37,000 feet. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger, I'm just I got knocked off of Milford, so I'm just back on that. So I'll be switching to Milford for your playback, Roger.
Back on that, so I'll be switching to Milford for your playback, Roger.
Okay, K1G 30 to 31 degrees, and it just started about an hour ago. It just barely showing up on the ground, but the ground is covered with about 2/3, about a half an inch. What's left of that, it fell the day before yesterday, and we have a pretty major snowstorm. It's going to hit us tomorrow afternoon and take us right through Sunday morning. Okay, here's Captain Mike just west of Chicago, heading toward Lake Michigan at 37,000 feet, 58 degrees below 0 Celsius, or about 65 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. I think I have here, wait a minute.
Okay, forward to Charlie.
Here we go.
Overhead Northbrook, Illinois, flight level 370. We got a little tailwind now, about 25 knots, doing 482 on the ground speed, 650 miles from Philadelphia, and we have a temp of minus 58, minus 58 Celsius. K1GZL from KX4 Whiskey Charlie. And I think
Okay, that was Captain Mike yesterday, and here is VK2SR at the just south of the capital of Australia and in Canberra. I think I've got him on this one. Wait a minute. I think.
Signal from North Hampshire. This is VK2 for the radio south of the nation's capital down here. Good on you, mate. I'm really glad you recovered well from the COVID. And, yeah, great signal 20 over here easily with some attenuation on Charlie, so that's how loud you are. Just crushing my QRNLE here this evening. So thanks for being there, buddy. Always a pleasure. It was good to hear you in there.
Okay, I wonder how that came through, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Sounds good. Now, did you say your Australian friend had gone to a different kind of modulation?
Modulation?
No, not that I'm aware of. Except about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he did make a change that did normalify his audio. He had been a little on the high pitch side, but he took care of that. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger. He shifted his EQ to include some lower frequencies.
Yeah, I think it balanced out. It sounded a lot better.
Oh, roger that. Well, sometimes folks don't quite understand that, when they're trying to get their voice to dominate in their audio, that if they do get a lot of lower frequencies, they do take up space as far as audio quantity. In other words, when you hit 100% modulation, that's it. It's not going to get any better. And if you've got a bunch of low frequencies contributing to that 100%, some of your hearing intensity is going to be sacrificed for those lower frequencies that don't tend to register much. So that's why a lot of folks, and I usually recommend that folks roll off after 300 cycles, because it's kind of, there's a very few people that really can appreciate those lower frequencies. Now that 7300 radio, the newer, ICOM 7300, does have a bandpass that goes down to 100 cycles in receive when you're in that 100 to 2900 mode. But most other radios tend to roll off that bottom end. So if you're using energy to generate those lower frequencies, there's very few people that are going to be able to appreciate it, Roger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the balance on your own audio is absolutely tremendous. Absolutely tremendous in here, Jim, and here you are, I hope.
Now that 7300 radio, the newer, ICOM 7300, does have a bandpass that goes down to 100 cycles and receive when you're in that 100 to 2900 mode.
Okay. There you are. You sound like you're right here in the room, very natural, and you can't improve anything there, Jim. Go ahead.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that, sir. Is your health, I hope, still improving?
Oh, yeah, it's not bad at all. I'm over it. I can go out and work in the yard, and it's not bothering me at all. But there was 1 week there, a little over 1 week, I was feeling like you can imagine what. But it never affected my breathing, or did it give me any fever that I am aware of. I just got weak. So weak. Oh, I thought I would drop. I couldn't get out of the chair. My appetite one day got to the point everything tasted like mush, and no taste or anything, and no desire to eat. But gradually we came out of it, but there's an awful lot of that Kovac all across northern New Hampshire and the state. It was either yesterday or the day before. We had 625 new cases just in the state of New Hampshire, Jim, K1GZL.
Roger. Well, I just hope that it minimizes itself as it continues to afflict our country. It's just making really life very difficult for a lot of people, and so hopefully as time passes, maybe the depth of the virus will tend to not be as severe, and will eventually just wind itself down. Roger?
Roger, I've got a phone call here, so I'll sign with you, Jim, and hopefully we'll catch you next week. The beautiful coffee.
Roger, Charlie, 73 up that way, sir. Thanks for checking in. I'm glad you're feeling real well, and that's great. And we'll see you next Friday, all things being equal and the creeks don't rise. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. My name is Jim, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 4, Bravo, Kilowatt, Charlie.
Let's see here. November 4 station. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Yeah, phonetically with your call sign.
November 4, Bravo, Kilowatt, Charlie. November 4, Bravo, Kilowatt, Charlie.
Roger. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. What's the name there?
Name's Brandon, and I'm in southeast Georgia, just about an hour northwest of Savannah.
Oh, Roger that, sir. And what radio are you running?
I'm running just got it this weekend. It's a IC7300 to an infed 70-foot line going up into about I'm also running a Heil PR40 microphone, and I'm running barefoot.
Roger, Brandon. Okay, let's do a quick setup on that 7300 if you would like. It starts with engaging your compressor at a 3. Did you say you just got that radio?
I did. I got it secondhand. I got it on Sunday.
Roger. Well, do you know where your compressor control is?
I do, and I have it at 3.
Okay, move it to 4. I'm sorry. Leave it. Yes, 3 is correct. And then, what is your mic gain out of curiosity?
My mic gain at the moment is 89.
All right. I tell you what. Let's move to the ALC. Do you know how to bring that up?
Just by manipulating the mic gain, correct?
No. What we want to look at is your ALC meter. It's a meter and then something. You have 3 or 4 options on the meter movement, and we're looking for ALC.
I'm not aware right now. My ALC, just so you know, is about it's almost 75% of the peak. So I'm about 25% under. 50 to 25% below peak, so 50 to 75%.
Roger, that's excellent. That's exactly where you want to be. So the thing I would suggest now would be to go, if you know how, to go to your equalization, your tone control. Do you know how to get to there?
Yes, sir. I'm looking at it now.
Well, you're a quick learner, only having that radio one day. All right, on tone control, can you tell me what your bass and treble readings are?
Yes, sir. My bass is at 0, and the treble is +4.
Excellent. I would go with that. I think you're beautiful there. You're nice. And tell me the one thing you like about your radio in about 15 seconds.
Well, number one thing is it gets me on the air. I think any radio should be happy with it. Being able to talk with like mine equals a great thing. Second being, I like the menu settings on it, how easy it is to go through the menus. I like it in July, late June, early July, and it's very, very easy to run. It seems to work great. So far, making a lot of really interesting contacts on it since I got it just short of a week ago.
Roger that. You're using the supplied stock hand mic?
Supplied stock hand mic?
Yes, sir. I'm using a Heil PR40. I used to do podcasting. So it was a microphone that I used in podcasting. Oddly enough, I don't know a whole lot about audio, but I thought that it would work with the radio, and so I ordered the microphone cable for it, and I ordered a foot switch. I do have the desk mic that was with it when I bought it, but I wanted to try this out. A little concerned that the radio wouldn't drive it because it needs a good power supply to drive the microphone, but it seems to be working. You're the judge of that, of course.
Roger that. Well, we have on the equipment side, we do a lot of voice processing, but there's another thing too. Let me take care of this telephone call. I'll be right back.
There's another thing too. Let me take care of this telephone call. I'll be right back.
Roger.
Oh, yes. Well, India calling again with the greatest opportunity. So, Brendan, what I was going to say is we also have a game that sometimes we play, and that is we look at the modulation meter, the output meter, as we speak, and what we want to do as we speak is try to keep the needle on the modulation meter up in the sweet spot, like at 100%. And we can do that through two ways. We can speak at a given rate, maybe a little bit faster than normal, just a tad faster than normal. And also, as far as the words are concerned, we're concentrating on trying to be each word in the same amplitude as the other. So actually we're doing our own processing with our human voice, and the whole idea is to keep that audio level up, and if you speak word for word, you don't have quite the output as you do if you're speaking, a little bit more rapidly, not drastically, but just a little faster, and also the words. And the more you look at the meter as you speak, you will develop a relationship from the standpoint of seeing your voice on the meter, and over a period of time you'll realize what works and what doesn't as far as keeping your amplitude up on your output meter or your power meter or whatever it might be. Roger?
Or your power meter or whatever it might be. Roger?
Roger, yeah. So basically I need to work on trying to keep the same modulation that I'm putting into my microphone to hang up the meter and keep it up into the peaks as often as I can without getting too slow, which is kind of hard for a southerner like me. Over.
Yes, sir, I realize that. I think the Southerners tend to think about what they want to say more than Northerners. Or looking at it another way, there is a rate progression as you move from north to south. And, it's just an observation. It doesn't mean anything one way or the other. It's just that's the way it is. And, of course, as you come down through the Carolinas, sometimes it's, dialects do play a certain part there, too, as far as being able to comprehend what one is saying, particularly in adverse radio conditions. There's a gentleman I think it's Sam who has a heavy, well, I would say Australian accent. Of course, it could be British also, but gosh, it is so thick. I love to talk with him, but the first time I spoke with him, it took us about 15 minutes to figure out what his call sign was, Roger.
Took us about 15 minutes to figure out what his call sign was, Roger.
Roger, yeah, I've experienced the same a few times as well, and in different, it is what it is. That's for me, is to be able to have a conversation with somebody that has a different way of speaking, for lack of better term. So it's very interesting in nature altogether. But great, man. I appreciate you. I've been watching your videos for a while now, and you actually helped out my Elmer several weeks ago, and he reminded me about that last night. So I said, well, I'm going to try to get on, see if I can let the master tell me how my radio is sounding with this other microphone. And I'm looking forward to watching it on YouTube later.
Roger, Brandon. Well, I just finally worked myself down to my Georgia SDR, and you're really sounding good down there, too. Usually, an SDR in someone's own state, they usually don't sound very good because, our transmissions are moving by skywave, and, when you have somebody like maybe 12 miles apart, they can hardly copy each other because the skywaves are not reciprocal in that point, and ground wave is they're right at the further extremes from ground wave. So it's just amazing, that you got a buddy 12 miles apart that you have to get a relay from California. Roger.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a new ham, so I'm very intrigued by all that stuff and fascinating, and it's been a lot of fun to learn and to try to understand, and it is very, very interesting, to say the least.
Roger, Brandon, but you do have the radio to go wandering through the world. And that 7300 is one of the best companions that you could possibly have for doing your exploring, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. My Elmer loaned me his ICOM 718 for me to get started until I could get my hands on my own radio, and got lucky enough to find this one for sale. It was only a couple months old, and I already had this microphone laying around collecting dust, so I'm really, really happy with it. I've made a lot of QSOs with it, and I really enjoy being able to see the waterfall. As a new hand, it kind of helped me to understand the whole, lower sideband 3 kilohertz, upper sideband 3 kilohertz, upper sideband going on at once. I can see that, and I can understand it by seeing versus just reading about it and all. But it's a fascinating radio, and I'm really glad that I've got my hands on it.
Yes, sir. Now I'll give you some suggestions. It has a 3-position bandpass filter. You want to run that in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. You want to run that 7300 in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. And matter of fact, I suggest that you take all 3 of your bandpass options and make them 100 to 2900, so you can't run that radio in any other mode but 100 to 2900 bandpass. Now, as far as the receiver goes, I would suggest you run that receiver in the filter 1 position. That is a no filter position, and in the number 1 mode, it will have a frequency response all the way down to 100 cycles. And if just out of curiosity, I might mention that if you might be inclined as to really want to hear what really is happening on the transmission, you're not going to find that in just the speaker inside that 7300. There's not enough cumes to really accurately display or hear the frequencies that are transpiring. So what you might want to do is get that audio outside of the 7300 by way of the the speaker jack, and then if you happen to go by Walmart and pick up yourself a LabTech, I forget what the system is, but it's 2 satellite speakers and a subwoofer, and the whole thing is like $40. Unbelievable cost, cheap, but does a great job with that subwoofer. You'll get those frequencies down to 100 cycles, which that 7300 is capable of doing. And for $40, you just can't hardly beat that. And just that will be the point of being able to hear precisely what's going on as far as people's transmissions. Roger?
Roger, yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll definitely look into that. So, a question about that. Using headphones, could I get the same sort of result on a decent set of headphones into the headphone jack? A decent set of headphones into the headphone jack, or would it be better to go with an external speaker system?
Well, I think the external speaker, because you have then a perspective. I think you do not have the same perspective as you listen through earphones as versus listening through a speaker system. The other thing is that when you hit transmit, you have the option of getting your audio back into your earphones, and I think that sometimes makes people speak a little timidly because they're hearing their voice come back, and also sometimes there is audio leakage from your earphones to your microphone, and that's a degradation of your audio signal, because the motto here is be all that you can be, and if you have things that are distracting from your being all that you can be, you don't want that. So I suggest just a speaker system where you're just listening to someone, and then when you speak, you don't have the earphones on to make you aware of your voice more than maybe what you should. Roger?
Aware of your voice more than maybe what you should. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, that makes sense, and I do appreciate your take on that. And I will definitely look into system so that I can bring in everything that I should be hearing. That's a great suggestion. I do appreciate it.
Roger, and a couple other things on the 7300 receive. I don't think you want to run in noise reduction. Noise reduction does cast some anomalies on the transmitted signal. It does make it cleaner, but it does add a kind of a reverb to the people's voices that aren't really there. So I suggest in the receive mode not running the noise reduction, and also not running the noise blank, unless you have really severe impulse noise. I would not run the noise blanker or the noise reduction. Roger?
Roger, yeah. I try to do that pretty much all the time. I do turn on the noise reduction. Of course, I've been playing with a little bit of everything on it just to try to see, how it works and what it's affecting and all. And most of the time, I don't run the noise reduction. Every now and then I do if there's a whole lot of noise in a particular band, like I've been noticing on the higher end of 80 meters around here. It helps a little bit, but it does, like you said, it does affect the audio that I am receiving, and I end up having to adjust other things just to take out and get a full spectrum of audio coming to me.
Roger, Roger. And that noise blank, if somebody is running, fairly good audio level, that noise blank will actually start to distort their voice. I've noticed anyway. So for that reason, I don't I don't have a 7300 now. My Elmer did manage to secure me one for about 3 months, which was just a delight. And I ran that radio mostly in the receive mode. Because it was just such a beautiful receive. I already had a pretty good transmit situation, so I wanted to hear more of what the 7300 did as far as receiving, and I think it's just an excellent, excellent radio, Roger.
Excellent radio, Roger.
Roger, well, that's good to hear. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hoping it, honestly, hope I don't ever have to buy another radio, to be honest with you. I'd like to get this one working to its best ability and just run with it. It's a very popular radio. A lot of people are running them. A lot of people are looking for them. A lot of people are running them. A lot of people are looking and got a 2-month-old one for a really good price and couldn't pass it up. So I sold a few things so I could get it real quick, and it's sitting right here with me, and I love it.
Roger, Brandon. All right, sir. Let me say 73 up that way, sir. It's a pleasure talking with you, and I wish you all the luck in the world in your 7300 explorations. Roger.
Explorations, Roger.
I do want to let you know you're in violation of the
Geneva Act. And what you're doing is a great thing, and it's helping out a lot of great people and a lot of new people like myself. And that's really cool. So 7-3. I wish you all the best, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. This is November 4, Bravo, Kilowatt Charlie.
Roger, Brandon, 73 that way. And my Elmer is on the frequency. Hello, Elmer.
On the frequency. Hello, Elmer.
Yes, you're in violation of abandonment, of Elmer abandonment. I've sent emails, I've sent smoke signals, I've sent everything. I damn near went to the cuckoo clock house over you, but now I've got a full wave antenna. Look, 3 meters blasting, and you're listening to 100 watts of pure steel of radio. And you're listening to a radio. I done putting it up just because of you.
Well, let me tell you something now. I just went through all my SDRs. You're 20 over from Rochester, Milford, down in Atlanta, in Arlington. You're 20 over all the way around. So how do you spread out all that signal with 100 watts?
Spread out all that signal with 100 watts.
Do you want me to blow the front end of your radio up?
No, but I notice my lights are dimming when you key.
Well, like I said, I can reach over here and hit this with variac and bring that up, and it's 100 amp variac, and I believe I can put 5 bushels right in there. But since we're 3.5 miles apart, you're not reading your emails. I have great concern and great worry. So, and I don't hear nothing back. Thank God I talked to you today, because me and Lorianne was coming over tonight to do a intervention before you left to go to mother-in-law's house.
Hey, listen now. If you will check your messages on your cell phone, I'm there, buddy.
I don't know how to do it. You got to learn to text me, or you got to learn to send me an email every night. I check my email every night. You got to do all that. Hey, listen to me. I just found out I had a bad ground. Now, this is some weird stuff, but I had a bad ground on a jumper. And I'm gonna fix it here in just a minute, and I'm gonna let you carry on while I'm fixing the bad jumper real quick, and we're gonna get back in there and have a good time. N9 GTO with the great KC9VKV, Mr. WHAS, Louisville.
That's N9 GTO, Lou, my Elmer, and he has abandoned me for the last 3 months. He says I've abandoned him, but anyway, that's my Elmer. So He's threatening to come back with a repaired ground on one of his jumpers, so he'll be probably 5 times louder than what he was. Anyway, this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net, and in general, if you're interested in hearing this, we are recording now live till 5, and then we'll post it up on YouTube, and you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 12/4/20, and that will take you directly to this recording. So if you want to hear what your radio sounds like, you go to YouTube, but first you have to get on the frequency here. So this is KC9VKV listening.
Kilo Delta 4, India Zulu.
Kilo Delta 4, come back with your call sign slowly phonetically.
Yes, it's Kilo Delta 4, India Zulu.
Kilo Delta 4, India Zulu, roger, roger. And what's the name there?
The name is Jack, and I am in north central Maryland, north of Baltimore, over.
Roger, Jack, and what's your radio, sir?
Well, at the moment you're listening to an ICOM 705, over.
I'm not familiar with the 705. Is that a recent radio?
Yes, it's brand new. It is the QRP, I guess you would call it the analog of the 7300. However, it also has UHF and VHF band capability. Limited to 10 watts, but I'm driving an amp at the moment, over.
Rogers, well, gosh, I think we could make it a little fatter if you might be interested.
Absolutely. That's why I called in, over.
Okay, sir. Our generic setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what it needs to do. So engage that compressor at a 3.
Okay, the compressor is at a 3. I have used your instructions to set up a 7300, which is my main radio. But this one, watching the ALC meter at the moment with a little drag in the speaking pattern, so I can see where it peaks, and it's popping right up to where it should.
And that would be a mid-scale to 2/3, Roger?
Roger, roger.
All right, and now let's go to your EQ, your equalization. Do you know how to get to there?
Yeah, actually the menu is identical to the 7300 for many of the items, so we can follow that. The one thing I have to do, if I key up the set menu, the set menu on this one goes away.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that on radios. You know, the radio seems to know more than what I want to know about where it should be, you know. That's one of the most difficult things for somebody just, getting a radio and trying to figure out how to set it up and use it, is that the menu keeps going somewhere else. When I put something on a menu, when I go somewhere, I want that menu to stay there until I decide for it to go somewhere else.
Yeah, roger that. Okay, now I'm in that menu setting, and it does stay there once you're in it. But if you're in the set menu and you haven't gone into the settings for that audio contour, it it gives you a little grief. Looking at where I am now, my bass is set for -1. A treble for +2, so bass -1, treble +2, and my bandwidth is at the maximum setting, so TBW is set for wide, over.
Yes, sir, that wide is 100 to 2900, Roger.
Yes, sir, that wide is 100 to 2900, roger.
Roger, roger.
And 9 GTO, November 9, Golf Tango Oscar.
Roger, Roger, Lou, stand by just a moment. All right, Jack, what I want you to do is increase your treble control by 1 click. Increase your treble control by 1 click. and I want you to increase your bass control by 1 click. So treble +1 from where you are, and bass +1 from where you are.
1 from where you are, and bass +1 from where you are.
Okay, that is now done. The bass is at, it's flat actually, it's at 0. And the transmit treble is at +3. +3, go ahead.
Okay, go one more top end, one more treble click. So it'll be a total of 2 clicks boost from where you were.
It'll be a total of 2 clicks boost from where you were.
Yeah, Roger, there we go. Okay, that's, wait a minute, that was the bass. I just went stupid on myself. Let me back the bass down by 1 and the treble up by 1.
Alrighty, so review and tell me what the bass and trebles are now.
So review and tell me what the bass and trebles are now. Okay, the bass is flat. It's at 0. The transmit treble is at +4, and I've only got one more step to go. Over.
Roger, you're fine. You're fine right there. I would run it just like that. You have plenty of articulation, and you do have a little bit fuller on the bottom end. You're still rolling off above 300 cycles, but you have just a little more bottom end. Your pass band is just a little bit bigger now, audio-wise. Roger.
Band is just a little bit bigger now, audio-wise. Roger. Yeah, Roger. Now, I am using a headset, and the headset is a Sennheiser noise-canceling Bluetooth headset. This is completely remote, no wires. And that may be affecting the audio contour a little bit. I have the stock mic, and I've never really checked the stock mic for the differences. Over.
Well, it depends on what you're going to be doing mostly. There probably are 2 different sounds, particularly a headset mic usually is a lot sharper than a normal desk mic. But, we really need to set it up for what you'll be doing mostly, Roger.
We really need to set it up for what you'll be doing mostly, Roger. Yes, and that's why I have the headset on. I will be using this portable, and the headset will be part of what I do. The regular microphone for this is a little speaker mic, and I've never really looked to see what the effect was, contour-wise or anything like that. I could, I suppose, use one of my other radios and take a look at or the SDR. And take a look at it and see what the contour looks like. But it sounds like I'm pretty much where I want to be. But thank you very much. Go ahead.
Roger, looks really good. Now, remember that anytime you change mics, you must always go back to your ALC and check your level. Because, I can attest to the fact that each microphone has a different output level. Some are more aligned with others, but there are some that are drastically different. So the best thing to do is when you switch mics, always go back and double check your ALC to be sure that you're running that mic mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Running that mic mid-scale to 2/3. Roger? I'd like to make a comment. Roger. Go ahead.
Yes, you can also go to K3FEF.com, and you can press record. You can press record on K3FEF.com, and you will be right below the signal box there. You talk, get in there and talk. Talk to somebody or talk to yourself. Do a testing. And record that, and then turn your radio down and listen to yourself on K3FEF, and you can adjust the bandwidth of that receiver as well. And always remember the last digit's going to be 3 off. That's a communication issue
all the SDRs are like that. It's just, is what it is. I complain about it, but I've been told, shut the hell up, Lou. But anyway, I'm the guy that's responsible for creating the great KC9VKV masterpiece, which he was a masterpiece when I was a young child, bugging the hell out of WHAS. But he is a great deal of fun to be with. And I'm just going to have to get some kind of bat phone, or he's going to email me his cell phone tonight so that I can wear it out. I even pay the damn bill if I have to. But I had a piece of 100-foot direct burial Davis coax that I've been hooking up different antennas to, and it's driving me crazy. Something was wrong. The antennas weren't right. Well, it wasn't the antennas. It was the coax. It's defective. And it was shorted within inside itself somewhere. I haven't found out where, but that's something me and BKV will do this spring. But I do have LMR 400 here now, and I'm talking. This is N9GTO on the 7700. Talking to you live on a full wave loop. 90 degrees out of phase with a 80-meter loop tied together.
Now, you know, the thing is now, I have given him a foam windscreen. I have given him a foam windscreen to run on his microphone, and he won't do it. I don't know. I mean, he'd take an old dirty sock or something and put on that mic. But FYI, Lou, your frequency content is, I'm looking at my audio through the mix board direct, and I'm looking at yours on the receive, and yours is on receive as good as mine direct.
Well, I'm not a professional on that, and with everything going on medically, I just consider myself a appliance operator, considering you. But I'm using my 7300 microphone on a 7700 ICOM, and I like that better.
Oh, you're not on the 7300?
No, sir. I'm on the 7700, the one my daughter bought me used from the ham station a couple years ago. It sits beside the bed. I had the 7300 on top of it for other bands because I have 5 coaxes. You know me. Every antenna has its own radio. I don't believe in switches, and I don't believe in tuners.
Yeah, I hear you there. I know you're right. I don't either. Pretty much the same thing. The thing is, you know, it gets down to antennas, and being all that you can be, it's important that you not waste power through an antenna, tuner, either in your radio or outboard. And it doesn't take a lot to be able to tune your antenna to get down to 0.05. The way I do it is I do the a dipole antenna without transformer and all that stuff is unbalanced basically, and I do my SWR on adjustments on one side of the dipole, and I do bring it back on frequency on the high side of the dipole, and I keep going back and forth working that SWR down on the ground side of the dipole to as far as I can get, and then I go back and check what frequency the antenna is, and I make that correction back to the frequency I'm looking for on the high side of the dipole. And you just keep going back and forth like that till you work yourself right down to a 0.05 SWR. All right, Lou, what else is happening over in your neck of the woods?
Well, we must not forget the X factor. The lower the X factor on the SWR analyzer is so important. Get close to 50 ohms. Get your 1.1 to 1 or thereabouts, and you'll have a great antenna. Now, if you have a 1.0 to 0.1 at 50 ohms, X factor is 150, you got a W load. You got a piece of junk. But if you got an antenna that's hot, and by the way, you're giving me a 60 over, you're burying my meter on my 7700. I had to put the attenuator on, and you're still burying the meter. So again, I'm on a 40 meter full wave loop vertically from the side of the tower, 3 feet away, fed with a quarter wave of RG11, and they are tied together with a matching network that allows me to run 80 and 40 simultaneously. They're 90 degrees out of phase. I don't have to tune nothing. I go 80, hit it, boom, turn the amplifier where I need to go. I'm not going to explain it. There's no reason for explaining. Liars may figure, but figures don't lie. And when one's 90 degrees out of phase, then there's no reason to worry about it, the other part. So I get the best of both worlds. And I still have my receiving loop, which is awful nice. If you have an issue out there where you've got receiving issues, you can always take a 36-foot piece of wire with 8 foot or 9 foot of RG11 and in a diamond shape, like the old Moonraker 4, by itself, put it up on a building somewhere or in the attic, hook it up and to a 300-watt tuner, 100-watt tuner, tune 160, 80, whatever, makes the greatest receiving antenna in the world, especially during a lightning storm. But anyway, I'm having a blast once I figured out that manufacturer had a problem. They're sending me a new 500-foot spool row for free. So, but me and you're going to have fun finding out this, because I do have the equipment that will determine where the defect is. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to you and wish you to pick up another contact. KC9VKV in the QSO logs. This is November 9 Golf Tango Oscar.
Roger, Lou. I just wanted to mention one other thing, and that is for folks that have rotatable directional antennas like rotatable loops, whether they be mag loops or just regular loops. And if you've ever been curious about how accurate the loop lobes are, you need to be able to see your loop in action as you rotate around. Well, that's sometimes hard to do because usually you have to get somebody else to hold your carrier or something to be able to actually see what's happening. But I don't know if you've ever considered using your antenna analyzer. Now, what's happening there in your antenna analyzer, you have a half a watt to a 1 watt actual transmitter inside your antenna analyzer. So, gosh, what a better way. You know, I use it now. I've been working on my my mag loop that got damaged by a fallen tree, and it's more at the top like a pear now, as opposed to a nice pristine round loop like it was. So I was just curious if that affected the directionality of the loop. And particularly, this is a large loop. It's a 10-foot diameter loop. So sometimes when you start a large loop as the frequency as the loop size approaches the operating frequency, it becomes less predictable as far as its radiation patterns. So I just wanted to double check what was going on. So I took my antenna analyzer and I went directly west of my loop antenna about 100 feet, and I put a little piece of wire stuck into the coax fitting about 6 inches long, and then I put the antenna analyzer on the frequency that I was checking out as far as the loop was concerned, and I came back in and I left my receiver in sideband mode because the carrier that analyzer is generating is it's not sideband, it's just regular AM without modulation, and I was getting the nice little heterodyne right on the frequency that I was looking for, and I have obviously this receiver has a VU meter tied to the output of the audio. So I brought my audio level up and got 0 level on my meter, and then started rotating my loop, and I could see as it turned around, I could see the level get less and drop on the meter, and I could hear it drop on the meter, and I was getting about 12 dB of plus and minus. At the null points, it was 12 dB down from 0 level, and as I brought it back around to its proper phase position, my level came back up to 0 level. So you don't have to be a mile away or anything to be able to accurately find out what's happening on a loop antenna, because you're just talking about a radiation pattern on a dumb loop, and it's going to be true. Probably you could work, you could sample that loop as close as 10 feet away, but I had 100 feet away, and obviously you can vary the analyzer's signal strength by how much wire you use on the output of the coax fitting on the analyzer. If you need more signal, you add a couple of feet more wire, and like that. But just passing along a way to be able to double check your radiation lobes on loop antennas by using your antenna analyzer. This is KC9VKV, and Jack, are you still with us in Maryland?
Yes, I am. Actually, I switched microphones. I had to do something, and I took the headset off. Over.
Okay, now, what I was telling you about going back to your ALC, your level is drastically lower than where it was. So go to your ALC and work that mic. And, you have to kind of go 100, 200, 300. You have to have a fairly fast pace to keep that meter up so you can see to adjust it. But you want to go from mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, let me do a quick check. Hello. Okay, I can, doing that kind of thing, I can bring it up a bit. The mic gain had to come up quite a bit. Over.
Bring that mic gain up there. Don't be afraid of it.
Oh, heck, I took it from 20 to 53. I'm going to run it up a little farther.
Run it to 70.
You're killing me, man.
Don't worry about it.
You're breaking my head here.
It's all right.
You're breaking my head. I'm on an amplifier. Why?
What kind? 811?
Negative. It's Elecraft KPA 500.
Okay, like solid state?
Roger.
Okay, how much are you putting out carrier-wise?
Carrier on sideband? I hope none.
Peak on sideband on your meter.
Hello. Okay, 550.
550. Does that amplifier rated for 550, or does it do 1,000?
It's rated for between 5 and 6. Over.
Okay, all right. What kind of antenna you got?
Let's see. I am on the 160 meter Carolina Wyndham at the moment.
Okay, there's your problem right there. Do you know what's going on? All that signal's going out to the end of that antenna. Once the higher the frequency you go, that antenna becomes a beam.
Oh yeah, I absolutely understand that. That's not an issue. For what I have right now, I can switch antennas. I can go to the vertical, but I'll probably disappear into the noise. Over.
That's okay. All right, that tells us what's going on here and the reason why we don't have a good copy on you, because I'm not hearing you at all in Milford, Pennsylvania at all. No signal whatsoever. So where are you located?
Not that far from Milford. I'm in north central Baltimore County. We're right near the Pennsylvania state line, north Baltimore. Over.
And that antenna's pointing northeast, isn't it?
It's either northeast or... No, it's not northeast. Let's see. I got to think about the direction. Now it's more... north-northwest.
Putting a good signal down in Georgia.
Not getting you because there's
putting a good signal down in Georgia.
We're getting just whatever we can from the, if you were able to walk out there and point that antenna down here, you'd just be blasting in.
Sounds pretty good in Georgia.
I'm aware of that, and I
sounds pretty good in Georgia.
Using
that antenna. People on that net that I call, which is ECARS, by the way, the East Coast Amateur Radio Service, are up and down the East Coast. I get a few people out into the northern Midwest, some folks down in Carolinas and Kentucky and out that direction. A few people out your way, but I'm sure there's a huge difference in the radiation pattern on 40 meter.
Yeah, if it was, I think like whatever, I forgot exactly what they are. I have experienced in burning those up. For some reason, they don't like AM.
Oh yeah, they're not designed for a real heavy load unless you buy the ultra high power matcher. The two transformers that go with it, the line transformer and the center conductor transformer. The center, well, it's not center. Sorry, you know what I'm talking about. I switched over to the vertical, and that one should be performing reasonably. I probably dropped a little bit, but at the same time, I may be a little more constant.
Yeah, you're more, it's give or take, but, I mean, I've heard guys, I think, is that you out there, Art? Okay, I've heard guys in Georgia, Atlanta saying they're hearing you. I've heard various guys saying that you're coming in pretty good. So, you know, it's an atmospheric thing. But the bottom line is the rig sounds great. I like what I hear. And you buy an amplifier for your friends, you don't buy it for. But you know, my Elmer, when I was make a long story short, when I was real young, my Elmer would go to work, and I'd go in his basement and work all the, work DX like crazy for about a month, and then all of a sudden the cards start coming in, and he says, "Lee, come here." I said, "What?" He says, "You down here setting a Drake on fire?" I said, "Oh yeah, I had a blast." He said, "Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that. Look at all these." So I had to take my lawnmower money that whole month and have new DX cards made for him, W9A9, Charlie Noise. Had to do that, and he was like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, I'm having fun, and I'm not bothering anybody. I'm not out selling dope or doing drugs or stealing or anything. I'm doing, working hard, and I got your Elmer and me and, good people, yada, yada, yada. And he said, "Well, we're not going to do it anymore, but you will be moving on and getting prepared for life." I said, "That sounds great." So after I paid the $100-something printing bill from a union printer, because he's a big union man, he was an engineer for Globe Union, and had sent all the cards off. I had to handwrite them myself and send them all off to everybody. Well, that was an embarrassing thing in 1970-something, but I had a hell of a lot of fun. But anyway, you got to use what you got to use, and that's what I'm doing here now, experimenting with an antenna system that it's kind of unique, but the antenna system you're a tester of this antenna system. So it came in about 12 o'clock, and I just got it up just now and hooked it up. So I'm beta testing it, and when the other box come in, I should be able to have 4 different directions to talk into at once all the relays and the phasing and everything is all hooked up in that GTO.
Roger, very good. Well, I better get out of the way, let Jim pick up a couple more people here. He's going to turn into a pumpkin otherwise. KD4IZ. Boy, did he go away.
Roger, Jack. Well, listen, Jack, you're sounding really good down in Georgia. You were 15 over down in Georgia. So that antenna is radiating. It's just where it's pointed is the thing, But like I say, you were 15 over in Georgia. All that whole transmissions. So it's doing really well. Roger.
Transmissions. So it's doing really well. Roger. Roger. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the help today, and always enjoy listening to what you got going. And N9GTO, great to make your acquaintance as well. So KC9VKV, 84IZ. I'll be out of here.
Roger, Jack, and just remember, when you switch those mics, be sure and go back to your ALC and adjust it from mid-scale to 2/3. And even though that mic that you're on, I think, was the one that has lesser output than the other, go ahead and take that mic gain on up. It doesn't matter as long as you're proper into your ALC, Roger.
As long as you're proper into your ALC, Roger.
Roger. Yellow Joyce hollering for you.
This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Echo 3W4 Japan, Papa Delta.
Papa Delta Station, come back with a call sign again, please.
Papa Delta Station, come back with a call sign again, please.
Yeah, Roger. KC9VKV from Whiskey 4J Japan, P Portugal, D Denmark, W4JPD.
Roger, I know the voice. What's the name?
Roger, I know the voice. What's the name?
Yeah, his name is Pete. Papa Echo Tango Echo. Your name's Jim, isn't it? Over?
Roger that. And Pete, where are you located, sir?
Roger that. And Pete, where are you located, sir?
Yeah, Jim, we're just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. I thought I'd get a report here on this new Kenwood TS890S. You're 5.9 plus, good signal, K9VKV from W4JPD.
Roger, Pete, I just got back to my local antenna. You're like somewhere around 30 over. So why don't you tell me about 10 seconds of your antenna situation there, and let me hear you.
Yeah, Roger. The antenna is a Buckmaster. It's an off-center fed all-band affair. Covers 80 through 6. And the Kenwood TS890S is the transceiver, and the amplifier is an Ameritron, the AL1500. So that's the lash up there, over.
Well, Roger, Pete, your audio is just beautiful. 3 dB dynamic range, average percent of peak modulation, 80 to 85%. EQ is spot on, Roger.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad it sounds decent there to you. We're using, actually, Jim, the Yaesu MD100 mic here. And, of course, with the 18-band graphic EQ and the radio, you can kind of adjust it to your taste, over.
Roger, looking at your audio in a spectrum analyzer, you have activity down to 25 cycles.
Wow, that's pretty low.
Yes, sir. It's a very, very broad, though. Your audio is just very nice, well balanced.
Well, that's good. Well, listen, I won't hold you. I know you got others that are calling, but just thought we'd call in and say a good afternoon to you. And we've chatted before on other radios, but I just thought I'd try it with the new Kenwood. KC9 Victor Kilowatt Victor, W4JPD.
Roger, Pete, and what's your location?
We're in Waxhaw, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte.
Oh, right. You're right in the middle of my hotspot. I was wondering why you were 40 over.
Why, you do pretty good down the Charlotte way?
Yeah, through the Carolinas. We're actually, the antenna is broadside to Montreal, Canada, and broadside to Miami. But between those two, it creates a hotspot through the Carolinas.
Yeah, you always have a good signal here. You know, I've tuned by many times on a Friday afternoon, and you always seem to be barreling in. So you're absolutely right. It is a hotspot for you, over.
Roger, just a beautiful signal there. Get the Gorilla Tape and taper down, Pete.
Okay, my friend, take care. Have a good weekend, and thanks much for the short one. KC9VKV, W4JPD. Bye-bye.
73. This is KC9VKV, and I heard my friend up in Canada calling. This is KC9VKV calling Canada.
Calling Canada.
Jim, Victor Echo 3, Papa, Charlie Papa, Rob here at the mic. And we're at home this afternoon, and I get a little bit of a different set of shock here. I bought myself an amplifier. I didn't have one before, so just a small one. It's a Dentron GLA 1000B, one of the sweep tube amplifiers.
About 300 watts each now, so not real big power, but just wondered how it's sounding down your way. KC9VKV, V3 PCP.
Roger, I'm copying you on Rochester SDR, and I'm going to move over to Milford, which I usually copy you on, and let me hear you there on Milford. Roger?
Let me hear you there.
Yeah, okay, Roger. Very good. And I know that I've had to readjust my, trying to get the power of the rig down to about 50 watts, and had to readjust my ALC and so forth to suit that, and hopefully got things set up right. Back to you, V3 PCP.
Roger, I went back to my local receiver. I wanted to look more accurately at your frequency content. Looking good there. You might check your ALC. I heard just a little bit of distortion, so check your ALC level, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. I turned it down there a little bit, and maybe that will improve things a little bit with the distortion and the V3 PCP.
Roger, I think that helped, and your good top end, the bottom end is rolling out there before 300 cycles, so you have nice intelligibility, Roger.
Very good. We're running the Kenwood TS850S here with the Kenwood MC80 mic, and the combination seems to work pretty well for me. Older rig, but certainly one that has served me well and continues to work well. So I'll let you get back to some other stations there, Jim. Thank you very much for the report, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VKV, V3 PCP.
Roger, Rob, 73 up that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by. If you get a chance, check in next Friday. Always, we are recording, so if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 12/4/20, that will take you directly to this recording. So 73 for now, and we'll catch you later, Rob. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November Delta 1.
Radio you want to check out?
November Delta 1 November, ND1N.
November Delta station, come back with the call sign slowly, phonetically.
November Delta station, come back with the call sign slowly, phonetically.
There's a November Delta station?
There's a November Delta station?
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. November Delta 1 November, ND1N.
Roger, ND1N? ND1N. What's the name there?
ND1N. What's the name there?
Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, running a 7300 into a G5 RV. And I just want to make sure I've got this set right. I'm looking at yours. Compressing okay. I've opened it. That's compressing okay. I've opened up a lot of stuff, but anyhow, I'd love to hear you go through it. ND1N.
Roger, our generic setup starts with the compressor at a 3. So if your compressor is engaged at a 3, Roger?
So if your compressor is engaged at a 3, Roger?
Okay, QSL, I had it down there. I turned it back up to 5 because it didn't appear I was getting as much.
Yeah, so we want that compressor on at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what it needs to do. So after that, we move to your ALC, and what you want to do is, by way of your mic gain control, adjust your ALC for reading mid-scale to 2/3. And you might speak kind of quickly, 100, 200, 300, to keep that meter up so you can see how to adjust it. Roger?
To keep that meter up so you can see how to adjust it. Roger?
QSL, let me get back to that I need, because right now I was in the wrong. But right now my ALC is peaking normal, just up, and it will peak to the red, just up to the red, so I can drop down the red. The mic gain, hello, 1, 2, 3, 100, 200, 300. My mic gain way down to 30, and it's still ALC goes up just short of the red line.
Roger. Well, that's where it is. I mean, you know, the ALC is your Bible. It doesn't tell you any false prophecies. It does what it's supposed to do, and so the best setting for that ALC is mid-scale to 2/3, or 20% less than max. Roger.
QSL. Well, I can take it down to, but now my mic gain is sitting right around 10%.
Okay, just out of curiosity, take it up to 40% and let me hear you.
Yeah, that's where I started out. So, okay, here we are at 40% right now. And typically I've been running at 50.
Yeah, I think 40, and I'm not sure if you, are you sure you're on your ALC meter?
Well, I'm on my meter and I'm looking at it and it shows power out, ALC, compression, etc. And it's, right now, it's just going up to and stopping just short of red line.
Roger. Well, usually I recommend 20 down from, max. But your dynamic range tends to come up there to about where it should be, you know.
Yeah, now I'm running the ICOM SM30. And on the bottom of it, it has a switch that says something about low, and I think that is turned on.
Why don't you give me a 10 count, and at 5, going to 6, make the switch, and so I can hear what it does.
And QSL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Roll it through one more time. I had a fade.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is with it on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Roger, it sounds like it's a low roll switch. Sounds like it's a low frequency roll off switch. And the last position you had was the roll off mode. Roger.
That was with the low on, yes.
Oh, the way I heard it, the last one you had was roll out, roll off.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is on the bottom of it, it says low cut, and it has a switch on or off. It is presently on.
Yes, on, which means that you have your low roll off on.
That's where it should be.
Well, we can, it could be either way. It's just a matter of, if we EQ around it or what, Why don't you give me about 15 seconds of what you like best about your radio, and let me listen to you. You're kind of fading in and out, so it's hard to really get an absolute handle on it, but I'll try this time. Give me about 15 seconds of something.
QSL, this is November Delta 1 November, Norway, Denver, and I'm running an ICOM 7300. My compression level is set at 3. My mic gain is at 40%, and I'm driving a Collins 3001 with about 50 watts. And putting out approximately 500 QSL.
Roger, Jim. It looks to me that's where you need to be. I mean, your dynamic range is correct. Your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%. I'm hearing no distortion, so I would run it like that.
I'm hearing no distortion, so I would run it like that. QSL, well, about the only thing that we changed on it was I lowered my compression, because I did have... Well, I lowered my mic gain by 10%, and the limit. 5 limit.
Roger, Jim. I think that's where to do it, man. Get the Gorilla Tape and taper down. I think you're right dab in the middle of where you need to be. So let me say threes to you, sir, 73s, and thanks for dropping by. And you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday where we do it all again. Roger?
Next Friday where we do it all again. Roger?
Roger, Roger. I thank you for your assistance. And
Kilo Golf 9 Delta.
Golf 9 Delta. Give me the call sign slowly phonetically again, please.
Give me the call sign slowly phonetically again, please.
Yes, sir. It's Kilo George 9 Delta. Kilowatt George 9 Delta. Over.
Roger, Roger. What's the name there, sir?
Roger, Roger. What's the name there, sir?
Okay, the name here is Norm, Norway, Ontario, Radio, Mexico. Norm's the name, okay?
Roger, Norm. And what's your location, sir?
Roger, Norm. And what's your location, sir?
Okay, I'm located in a little town called Lillian, just like the lady's name, Lillian, Alabama, and we're just next door neighbor. Go ahead.
Okay, just looking around for the best antenna system. I was copying you pretty much through the Georgia SDR. Come back and give me about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and tell me about your antenna system so I can look around for a better path.
I can look around for a better path.
Okay, very good. Now for a little while, and Bandicoose's ours beginning. Jim, we're running a Tentec Omni 7 with a 709 dynamic microphone. The antenna system I'm using right now is a half-wave M-fed 130-foot wire. M-fed 100. It points about 10 feet in the air, and then it goes up into a tree, 35 feet up, and then back down a little bit, sort of a oblong-looking inverted V antenna, if you will. And my secondary antenna is a high-gain AV640. A high-gain AV640 vertical, which is up on a 15-foot galvanized steel pipe. And that's a pretty good antenna, and then fed 3/8 wave on most of the bands, so pretty good GX antenna. Anyway, we're on the wire. Seems to be copying you better on the wire right now, which I'm going to put up a little bit higher when my brother-in-law gets here with his drone. We're going to fly it up in the air with a drone and get it as high up as we can. So, how's that there, sir? KG9D.
Roger, now you said you were on a Tentec 907. Is that a Roger?
Roger, now you said you were on a Tentec 907. Is that a Roger?
A Tentec 709 microphone. And the rig is a Tentec Omni 7. An Omni 7, okay?
Roger that. And you're down in Alabama. Is that a Roger?
Roger that. And you're down in Alabama. Is that a Roger?
That's a Roger in Alabama.
Okay, do you know where your tone control, your EQ is?
Do you know where your tone control, your EQ is?
Yeah, I have the transmit EQ at a minus 6 dB, minus 6 dB.
On which one? Do you have a 3-band EQ?
On which one? Do you have a 3-band EQ?
No, just one EQ. It's got a receive EQ and a transmit EQ. It's TX EQ is saying minus 6 dB.
Roger. I'm not familiar with that, equalization procedure, but if you know how to give yourself a little more top-end EQ, I would suggest you do so to increase your intelligibility. You know, you need to be just a little brighter than what you are, Roger, for increased intelligibility.
Which you are, Roger, for increased intelligibility.
Okay, let me roll it up here while I'm talking. That minus 6 dB now. I'm going to run it up. Let's see, I'm going the wrong way. This is minus 10 dB. Did I go the wrong way? Go ahead.
It's looking better. I think I would run it like that. Sounds pretty good. Like I say, though, you might consider. See, normally you would have like a 3-band EQ or a 2-band EQ or a 10-band EQ, something like that. It's not usually that you would have one fixed EQ position that you would just adjust one knob that would give you, everything, Roger.
Knob that would give you, everything, Roger.
Yeah, okay. Now there's not a 3-band EQ in this. It's just one EQ for transmit, one for receive. The sideband TX bandwidth is on the top is 3,000. TX roll-off is 100 hertz. 100 hertz on the bottom end. Let me roll up this TX a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to take it up to. Let me take it all the way up to. I think I'll take it up to. That's as far as it goes, Jim. This is minus 20. Go ahead.
Okay, I see your top end increasing there, your audio top end increased. I would drop it down just a little bit less than that. Not that might be too thin.
A little bit less than that. No, that might be too thin.
Okay, I got it down to minus 15. Minus 15. How's that sound?
I'll buy that. That sounds pretty good. I've never actually run across a radio that EQs that way, but by hook or crook, we wound up at the right place, Roger.
Hey, but by hook or crook, we wound up at the right place, Roger.
Well, one way or the other, right? Now, that's all Tech has on the Omni 7.
Roger. Now, I would go to my ALC and double-check my level, particularly when we've made these big excursions in EQ. Your level would have shifted, so you need to reset your ALC level at mid-scale to 2/3.
Your ALC level at mid-scale to 2/3.
He has since come out with the Omni 7 Plus. I haven't seen one or used one, but there's supposed to be a 7 Plus. I don't know what difference there is. But that's all we got. That's all we got. Marketing, but that's all we got. That's all we can do with this 709 dynamic microphone is what we're using. Go ahead.
Roger, I think it sounds great. I don't have the best copy on you in the world, but from what I hear, it sounds really good. So I would run it like that. Like I say, just double check your ALC to be sure that your level is mid-scale to 2/3.
Be sure that your level is mid-scale to 2/3.
Foxtrot Sugar.
Foxtrot Sugar, stand by just a moment, please.
Foxtrot Sugar, stand by just a moment, please.
Okay. ALC LED flashes. It just says a flash. There is no ALC meter, go ahead.
Roger. Well, with our setup, your flashes will occur more often. It doesn't. All it means is that you're a little heavier in your audio, so your flashes will be more often as we increase your dynamic range. Actually, depending on phraseology, what we're doing is converting your dynamic range from, say, I think it was like about a 5 or 6 in the beginning, that we're moving that towards a 3 dB dynamic range, which is a nice range for transmissions of the human voice by radio, and that means that your average peak modulation probably goes from about 50 or 60% to about 80 to 85% at 3 dB dynamic range. Roger.
85% at 3 dB dynamic range. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. You think I need to bring down the TX bandwidth, say down to 2800 or 2700? You think?
No, never. No. You want to be 100 to 2900. Be all that you can be. There's no reason to compromise.
Be all that you can be. There's no reason to compromise.
When you start rolling off the top, when you start reducing your bandpass, you start losing the top end as well as the bottom end. Well, the problem is when you lose the top end, your articulation flies out the window. So we want to keep the bandpass up so we can get the maximum nice articulation on the top end, and we can deal through EQ for controlling the bottom end.
Through EQ for controlling the bottom end.
Okay, I can roll the TX bandwidth all the way up to 4K. It's up at 4K right now. Do you hear any difference?
No, I'm not copying that broad. And I would suggest that you not run it that way because you may influence your enemies.
You may influence your enemies.
I think we have a couple of enemies on here now. Somebody came out of the frequency. I rolled it back down again. I know the bandwidth should remain at 3K. I just wondered if you didn't hear any difference. I've only had this radio a couple of months. And the TX is back to TX equalization. So I guess that's about all I've got to adjust on this radio, Jim. Go ahead.
I think you got it, sir. I'd get the Gorilla Tape and taper down. I think it sounds good. I got to move along, Norm. Thanks for checking in, Roger. Have a great weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday, 73 for now, Roger.
Get a chance, join us next Friday, 73 for now, Roger.
Thank you very much for your help, and appreciate that very much. You stay safe, and we'll look for you again. If I can remember Friday afternoon, I'll be back. Take care. 72
Quebec.
KC9V. Bye-bye.
Roger, there's an FS station out there. An FS station, this is KC9VKV.
Station out there, an FS station, this is KC9VKV.
Yeah, this is WA2, Mike Foxtrot Sugar. The handle here is Tom. I'm located in the southern Maryland, Lexington Park, outside Washington, D.C., and you're like 5 and 20 over. Brand new Icom 7300 with a homebrew dipole only up about 20 feet. I'm just curious how we're... Okay, that's Zulu X-ray.
Roger, Tom. Well, I don't know what the deal is, man. I'm copying you through Georgia SDR. Come back and give me about 10 seconds of your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path.
Let me look around and see if I can find a better path.
Okay, yeah. This dipole, like 30 feet. Homebrew.
I got to move in, Roger. Have a great week. Friday, 73 for now.
That's about 20. Antenna set up this week. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, boy, I want to tell you something. I'm just, I have 4 SDR receivers and along with my local receiver audio, and they're all on a rotary switch. And man, I just ran through Arlington, Virginia, and for some reason, the latency is about half a minute, 30 seconds. So when I went to Arlington, I heard my last transmission from like a minute ago, and I was clearing with that last QSO, and I said, man, that sounds like my voice. For some reason that SDR is running about 45-second latency, Roger.
SDR is running about 45-second latency, Roger.
Okay, yeah, Roger on that. All right, well, we just want to make sure that the Icom's working. We just got the radio today, though. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's go through the setup procedure really quickly here. Put your compressor on at a 3. That's the beginning of our setup. Compressor on at a 3, Roger.
Beginning of our setup. Compressor on at a 3, Roger.
Tom, you got a copy?
Okay.
Tom, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I just put it on 3, yes.
Okay, Tom, what is your call sign again, slowly, phonetically?
Okay, Tom, what is your call sign again, slowly, phonetically?
Yeah, Whiskey Alpha 2, Mike, Mexico, Foxtrot Sugar. Mike Foxtrot Sugar, over.
Roger, Tom, what's your location?
Roger, Tom, what's your location?
Lexington Park, Maryland, 60 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Roger, Tom. Okay, we got that compressor on at a 3. Let's move to your ALC. With mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3. You have to speak fairly quickly, 100, 200, 300, and as you speak, that meter will stay up there so you can see how to adjust it with your mic gain.
It will stay up there so you can see how to adjust it with your mic gain.
Now, we're sure that where the ALC is on the grid.
You don't know where your ALC is?
You don't know where your ALC is?
Yeah, correct. I don't know where it is yet. I have to look for it.
All right, in lieu of that, what is your mic gain setting at the moment?
In lieu of that, what is your mic gain setting at the moment?
About 75%.
What mic are you running?
What mic are you running?
The hand mic.
Okay, now, are you running that hand mic right up against your cheek, talking across it, not into it? Pull it right to your cheek where it touches your cheek, and you're talking right across it, Roger?
Cheek where it touches your cheek, and you're talking right across it, Roger?
Okay, Roger, want to hear me now better?
Okay, now, do you know how to get to your, well, let me put it this way. Maybe you want to make that mic gain control at around 50. I would pull that mic gain down to around 50, Roger?
I would pull that mic gain down to around 50, Roger?
Okay, it's down there to 50 now, Roger.
Okay, and do you know how to get to your tone control?
Do you know how to get to your tone control?
No, I do not. I'll have to learn this radio, I guess.
Yes, sir. Okay, note to self. When you figure out how to get to your tone control, what you want to do is advance your treble control 2 clicks hotter than where you are. Make that 2 clicks hotter than where you are on your treble control. Leave your bass where it is, Roger.
Your treble control. Leave your bass where it is, Roger.
Okay, Roger on that. Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, the ALC is about 5, yeah.
Okay, I'm not copying you real well, sir. Try it again.
Okay, I'm not copying you real well, sir. Try it again.
Tom, you still have a copy?
I'm going to have to turn it.
Tom, you still have a copy?
I guess, go ahead.
I think we doubled there, Tom. You're fairly marginal now, so I don't think I'm going to be able to help you anymore because I don't have that good a copy. But anyway, when you note to self, when you do find your EQ, do plus 2 clicks hotter treble EQ. Roger?
Plus 2 clicks hotter treble EQ. Roger?
Okay, Roger on that. All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, what's your call sign?
This is KC9VKV, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. Now, also, we have been recording since 5, since 3:30 actually, so if you want to hear what your radio sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 12/4/20, that will take you to this recording. We'll take you to this recording, Roger.
Recording. We'll take you to this recording, Roger.
Okay, Roger that. Okay, thank you so much. 73 to you, KC9VKV, Whiskey Alpha 2, Mike Fox Sugar. Let's support. Bye-bye. 73.
Roger, Tom. 73 that way, sir. And, gosh, look at that. We've been a pumpkin for 17 minutes. Got to get out of here. Hope everybody got their radios adjusted that wanted to. If you participated, we would like to hear what you sound like. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 12/4/20, that will take you to this recording. If you just want to hear some other recordings, if you just do a call letter search without the date, KC9VKV on a YouTube search, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. We're running about 1,400 QSO-VLOG recordings. So for now, we're going to have to jump out of here and return this frequency to normal amateur use. This is KC9VKV clear.
KC9VKV clear.
KC9VKV V Kilo Delta 5 India Bravo
You are a 20 plus up here. I don't know what you're running down here, but you're booming up here. Copy that.
Who's that that I'm booming up to?
Jim, you still in there?
Who's that I'm booming up to?
India Bravo Uniform.
Alpha up here in Pennsylvania, up around Pittsburgh. You're like a 20 plus. I've never heard you up a signal like that before. I don't know if it's sunspots or I don't know what you're doing, but it sure is working. Roger?
Roger, Roger. Well, our mantra as we built the station was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hot spot through the Carolinas.
Montreal to Miami with a hot spot through the Carolinas.
Copy that. Okay, I just wanted to pass that info along. I was listening. It is, so I missed you again. So better luck next Friday, I guess. Anyways, have a good weekend, Jim. W3APA, Pittsburgh. We're clear with you.
APA, stand by just a moment there. I just went to my local antenna, and you're about 15 over, so I got a really good copy on you. What's the call again?
Whiskey 3, Alpha Papa Alpha. Roger?
Alpha Papa Alpha. Roger, what's the name?
Tony, Tango Oscar November Yankee. Yeah, I just was listening. I just scanned around, and you're like a 20 plus up here right now. Over?
Roger, Tony. And what's your location?
12 miles south of Pittsburgh, called West Mifflin, little borough called West Mifflin, Allegheny County. Over?
Roger, what radio?
FTDX 5000 MP Limited, third generation 5000. Roger.
Roger. Well, we could set you up there really quick if you might be interested. Starts with your compressor engaged at a 3.
Yeah, it is actually. I was listening. I was playing around with mine while you guys were talking, and I'm on a Howell microphone 781, and my other thing is set at 100 something. Wait, I can't check it when I'm keyed up. Hold on.
Yeah, okay. Let's just move to your ALC now and adjust your ALC from mid-scale to 2/3 by way of your mic gain control. As you speak fairly rapidly, that you can keep that meter up or whatever monitoring device you have for your ALC. We want to get that at mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger that. Okay, hold on. Let me set the lever. Okay, there's ALC. Okay, there's my mic gain. There's 2/3 right there as I'm talking. Swinging between just past the 3 and then the next number's a 5, and then it goes past the 5. So that's about 2/3 right there. How's that sound?
All right, we're starting to get there now. Can you go to your EQ? And we need to make a couple of adjustments here.
My EQ. Okay, I'm going to have to grab the book if I do that. Do you have time?
Let me give you some notes.
Oh, okay. Here, I got some paper and a pen right here. Okay, shoot.
Okay, want a little more clarity in articulation. Your top end EQ, treble EQ, +2. +2 on your treble EQ. I would leave the bass where it is for right now, and we'll see how that +2 helps as far as the balance. Probably need another click of top end, but we can do that later. So just top end EQ +2, Roger?
Roger that. That's treble +2. I just wrote that down. Yeah, mine goes in frequencies in the book. I know that. So I guess I'll have to catch you next Friday, because I'd have to scan around to find what number it is when I go into my menu there. Roger?
Okay, now you might be just a little hot into your ALC. What is your mic gain setting right now?
It is little past, it's around 11 o'clock. Roger?
All right, let's put it to 10 o'clock and let me hear you.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. How's that?
10:30.
Is that good?
10:30. Halfway between 10 and 11.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. How are we sounding now?
Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Looks good. 3 dB dynamic range. The other was just a little hot. It looked like maybe a 2 dB dynamic range, and that gets. The thing is, to understand a person's voice, if one gets too fat, the words blur together, and that is worse than you can get too loud. And what I want to do is keep a nice dynamic range of 3 dB, where it really helps for the intelligibility. It's not too fat and it's not too weak. It's just perfect. And when you exceed that and get up to 2 dB, you start losing the dynamic range of the word, and it becomes more difficult to understand.
Copy that. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the help there, Jim. Yeah, it's about almost 25 after 5, and yeah, you turned into a pumpkin a while ago there, Roger.
Roger, let me. Well, gosh, it sounds a little, but I haven't heard the +2 EQ correction. So let's just leave it for that. What I told you, they're +2 EQ boost from wherever you are.
Okay, well, I can't do that right now. I could hold on a minute.
Now, I don't want you to change anything until, everything's fine, just that when you find your EQ and how to do it there, we want just a couple of clicks more top-end EQ to increase the intelligibility.
Okay, change something there. Does that make a difference, over?
Gosh, I was just changing my my SDRs. You kind of faded out on my local antenna, so now I'm on the Georgia SDR. Go ahead.
Antenna, so now I'm on the Georgia SDR. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hardly hear you, Jim. You copy me? 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I had to shift off to the Georgia SDR to copy you. I was copying on my local antenna, but apparently we had some conditions change, so that's why I had to change my receive antenna. Roger.
So that's why I had to change my receive antenna, Roger.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, you dropped down almost into my noise level now.
Yeah, Roger, you did also. All right, so I think we've about got it there, Tony. So let me say 373 up that way, Roger.
Tony, let me say 373 up that way, Roger.
Okay, Jim. Yeah, I'm losing you now. I don't know what, I guess the band's shifting or something. Anyways, I hope to hear this. I guess you'll post it today's date on your website there, Roger.
Roger, give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. It usually takes us, we want 48 hours leeway to get it posted up to YouTube. Usually we'll get it posted before then, but if we get real busy, it's nice to be able to have a couple of days leeway. Roger?
It's nice to be able to have a couple of days leeway. Roger?
73, if you can hear me.
W5KQ, Whiskey 5, Kilo, Quebec, over.
Kilo, Quebec station, go ahead quickly.
Kilo, Quebec station, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, this is Whiskey 5, Kilo, Quebec. I don't want to hold you too long, but would appreciate a quick in the report, over.
Roger, I'm hearing some distortion. What amp are you running? Can you dump your amp and come back barefoot?
Amp are you running? Can you dump your amp and come back barefoot?
Okay, the amp is off. Maybe this is better, over.
I think it might be EQ that I'm hearing. Bring the amp back on, Roger.
I'm hearing. Bring the amp back on, Roger.
Okay, W5K. I'm running about a kilowatt, over.
Yes, sir. I've got somebody that's got some severe problems also on the frequency. Anyway, give me the call sign slowly phonetically again, please, sir.
Anyway, give me the call sign slowly phonetically again, please, sir.
This is Whiskey 5, Kilo, Quebec. Whiskey 5, Kilo, Quebec, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, over.
Yes, sir. And what's the name there?
Yes, sir. And what's the name there?
Name here is Ken. Kilowatt Echo November 10. Over.
Roger, Ken. Gosh, I think you might be really boosting your around 1.5 2KC area. What kind of EQ are you running?
C area. What kind of EQ are you running?
Yeah, I am running at ICOM 7300, and I don't know exactly what the EQ setting is, over.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's start with your bandpass. Are you 100 to 2900 bandpass?
Are you 100 to 2900 bandpass?
Yeah, I don't honestly know, and I don't honestly how to check it. I'm looking at, you don't know what you're talking about. RF setting here is 36%, mic gain is 48%, and compression is 4. Over.
Roger, bring your compressor down to 3. Let me give you some notes. Put your compressor on 3. Move to your ALC then. And as you speak a little bit quicker into your microphone, like 100, 200, 300, so you can keep the meter up. By way of mic gain control, adjust your ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 fluctuation on your ALC meter by way of your mic gain control. Roger?
By way of your mic gain control. Roger?
Okay, I don't know exactly how to monitor that. This radio is new to me. And let's see, I'm looking at, let's see, compression is 3, mic gain is 48%, RF power running 36%, but I'm running into the amp now, and I'm peaking about 500 or 600 watts. Over.
Yeah, Ken, I'm giving you notes. I don't expect you to be doing anything right now except taking notes, Roger.
I don't expect you to be doing anything right now except taking notes, Roger.
Yeah, I'm ready to copy. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, sir. So after you get your compressor in line at a 3, move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, so you can keep the meter up, adjust your ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3 fluctuation by your mic gain control adjustment. Roger?
By your mic gain control adjustment, Roger.
QSL.
Okay, then move to your EQ, and from what I'm hearing, you have extremely, I don't know whether it's mic or whatever, but you're very treble. So I want you to double check your transmit sideband EQ and put your bass flat and I would say at this point your treble flat. Put both of those adjustments flat, and then if you get a chance, join me next Friday, and we'll take a listen and see where you are, Roger.
And we'll take a listen and see where you are, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Thanks very much. We sure do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That will be the beginning of the setup. I think that'll be just about right. That's it. We have a generic setup, so it's the same for almost every radio ever built in the last 20 years. It's a very generic setup, but we do take the normal transmitter from a 10 dB, 30% average peak modulation to a 3 dB, 80 to 85% modulation with our setup. Roger.
For me, so I'll study it and try to catch you again. I do appreciate it. Thanks very much. This is W5KQ. Over.
Roger, Ken. Like I say, right now your audio is very treble, very mid-range treble. So like I say, that I'm not sure, what's going on there, but I think if you make sure your bass is flat, sounds like you maybe have that bass rolled off for some reason, but you just when you get to EQ, put your bass flat and your treble flat, and we'll take it from there. And also, you want to be double check to be sure you're in your band pass is 100 to 2900. Roger.
But we'll check it.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, let me say 73 to you, sir, and you have a real good afternoon, great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday if we get a chance. And again, your recording of this QSO should be on a YouTube search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 12/4/20, and I'll take you right to this recording. So 73 for now, and you have a great weekend. This is KC9VKV, suffering from pumpkinitis. We've been a pumpkin for 27 minutes now, and we got to get out of here. So we'll say 73 to all, and we'll catch you next Friday afternoon for the QSO-VLOG net. This is KC9VKV, returning the frequency to normal amateur use. KC9VKV is clear.
GTO, the man that created the monster, KC9VKV is clear as well.
Jim, don't want anything, just wanted to say hello.
Hello!
Hello back. All right, Jim. Talk to you later.
Roger, 73. This is KC9VKV clear.
Jim's the rock and roller, holla roller. Yeah, you've having fun today, Jim. Having real good fun today. Let me hit this roller inductors a little bit right there, Will. Yeah, you were having some fun today.
Boy, that radio sounds good.
You like it, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, my daughter got this for me, I don't know how many years ago, from Stan the Man over there at the ham station. And then it had issues with, is that you calling me? You're calling me on my phone, is that right?
No,
Well, it says Jim Ferguson. It came up on my watch. Maybe you called me earlier. Boy, I'm getting a new phone, by the way. This phone's got some issues, and they're getting me the new iPhone 12. So buy with the iPhone 8 Plus. It's got a crack in the glass.
Roger. All right, I'm going to get out of here, man. Good to hear from you.
I couldn't let you have all this fun. As soon as this package arrived from Italy, this antenna design is a 4-bay array full wave loop. And the gentleman had the bucket truck available today, and he was here. And I said, look, I'm not going through this anymore. Get it done. So I'm beta testing it, and I'm going to have some fun with it. And then I'll let you come take a look at it. And all the components that come with it, I did open the lids up. They're all epoxied. I don't know what's in there. So I was like, oh, I don't get to know the real deal here. So, but anyway, it's up and it's installed, and he actually paid the bill over the line. His English is very broken, but it's a friend of, I used to work with Franco at ELAD, and he's now building antenna systems. So you've got, and I'm running all 4 corners right now. So, and I can turn directions and stuff and do that, all that remote control with my hand. So that's the neatest of it all. So I've been having some fun with it. I'm learning about it, and it doesn't require a tuner, but I run mine through the Viking anyway, just for the heck of it, just so I can see everything. I like watching my meters. So with that being said, KC9VKV, and by the way, we need to talk next week. There's something that is available, like what you got now, but only a newer model, and it's a silent key, and it's it's called a Golden Edition, and it's all black, and it's got more functions and more bandwidth and some other things. And it's the sister to yours that turned into the FT1000 Mark V. So kind of unique deal. I'll tell you about it. Box, paperwork, everything's there. And if you want it, I'll make sure it's picked up for you. And 9 GTO 73.
Roger, 73. Catch you later. Good to hear from you. KC9VKV is gone.